Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, America, and welcome to Pulse City. I'm your host, Marcus Hardy, Black again, and today we're going to talk about two of some of the most prominent artists in the hip-hop community. That is one up-and-coming rapper, often imprisoned rapper, Kodak Black, and the greatest rapper alive since the greatest rapper retired, Weezy F Baby, aka Lil Wayne.
And this is Angela Say This, Voice of the People, and we are here for another episode of the Pulse City. Donald J. Trump pardoning several people, including Lil Wayne and Kodak Black. I'll be very honest with you. I don't know too much about the cases pending between Lil Wayne and Kodak Black and what they were actually pardoned of. But what I do know is that this is a direct result, president or former president at this point, using his power, his authority as a favor to get further backing from certain folks to certain communities.
As you may have heard, these two artists were recently pardoned by our former president, Donald J. Trump. Now, Donald J. Trump has a history of very derisive behavior, very racist, very xenophobic, very negative attitudes and actions towards minority communities, women, foreigners, even people in his own party. At the end of his 4-year term, pardoned a record number of people, 146 individuals, many of them celebrities, in the last few days of his presidency.
I think it's been very interesting with the latest election in regards to the people who were willing to outwardly campaign for Donald Trump and to speak out in favor of the policies and things that he was doing. I do recall seeing Lil Wayne tweet something about raising taxes and the fact that he was voting for Donald Trump because he didn't want his taxes to be raised. He was definitely seen photographed with Donald Trump recently and all of that good stuff. What I personally think that we should pay attention to is how easily some people are swayed into believing or being indoctrinated into hateful rhetoric harms disproportionately people that look exactly like them. Lil Wayne, Kodak Black, Ice Cube, whoever, this is not a new thing. Right?
What did Kodak Black and Lil Wayne do to get themselves in this situation? Well, Kodak Black, a previous felon, decided to purchase weapons, firearms, in Florida as a felon, which is totally illegal. Also, Lil Wayne, who also had previous weapon charges, was facing a 10-year bid in jail if he didn't get this pardon. We didn't even really know about Kodak Black until after the pardons came out. But what we do know is before the pardons, Lil Wayne went on a campaign where he spoke on behalf of Donald Trump, supporting his policies and his re-election, as well as doing a photo op in the months before his pardon.
I tend to think of like how there were black slave catchers back in the day when enslaved individuals would try to run away from their plantations, and that how not all of the slave catchers were white. There were some that were also black. All of that means, and I think this is a piece that gets lost in all of it when we start talking and calling each other all skin folk and kinfolk and Uncle Toms and all this other stuff. I tend to go to the empathy part, and I start thinking about how oppressive systems will create otherworldly conditions where people will just look to survive, and if that means that they have to sell out their own people, they will.
So when you see this dichotomy of two rappers that you've grown up with, if you're me, right? Two rappers that you respect, right? Lil Wayne, very lyrical, started in the 90s with Cash Money, all the way through Young Money, Drake, Nicki, all these things, and just putting out hit after hit after hit with some of the most amazing lyricism you've ever seen.
I don't think it's right. It would be something that I would never do, but I do think that we have to remember that the black person isn't the enemy. It's the system that person is attempting to survive in. And unfortunately, that person has decided to side with the oppressors in hopes that they'll get saved in the process. A very, very strong illustration of how it's two systems and two different worlds for Black folks and others. Tap dancing a little bit for Donald Trump and getting, the thing that he wanted, the thing that he needed, which was a pardon. What I think a solution to this is that we need to continue to educate all of our people, no matter what your socioeconomic status is, no matter what your profession is, no matter what and where you place yourself in our society. You need to continue to be educated on why you're doing the things you're doing and why you're using survival tactics that can also hurt your people in order to survive in this world, instead of actually actively trying to change it.
And then Kodak Black, an up-and-coming rapper who had very good music, very good lyrics. Even though he was a mumble rapper, you could really see his trajectory on the upward direction. So like I said, when you have these two individuals supporting somebody who has never supported members of their community and their fan base.
We live in a society that's very independent. We don't think about the greater good for the whole. We're very selfish as a society, especially Black people who get lost in the sauce in that kind of way. They're only thinking of themselves and maybe their immediate families. And they think falsely that if they make enough money educating ourselves about the systems so that we can understand the playbook, so that we can change it. I think it's important to understand how the game is played, understand every single position, so that we can dismantle the whole thing at the end of the day. For low-level offenses and non-violent crimes and stuff like that, that's an entirely different conversation. So I'm not saying that these people, that Kodak Black or Lil Wayne or whatever, deserve to go to jail. What I am saying is that they are parts of their pieces on a chessboard to these people. Donald Trump didn't pardon Lil Wayne and Kodak Black because he likes their music and he respects them as human beings and as men. He did it so that he could potentially get them to talk more Black people into voting for him. Of really dismantling democracy and dismantling everything that this country is supposed to be about. It happens on lower levels all the time. And I think that Black people who work in corporate America and have to work in mostly white spaces, we have an understanding and an awareness what could possibly be happening. And we second guess a lot of things. Imposter syndrome is real because of what we know of the systems. And I think that it's important that we make sure our kids and the younger generations know that this is also a tactic, might say or do. Have them be able to think for themselves. I think that is important all across the board. I'm Angela Say This, voice of the people. Whole City, I'll see y'all next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for another ride through the city. Please like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Oh my God, orange is not my new black.